So could a 5G cell phone cause an airline to crash? We're going to talk about it.
So, there's always, you get on an airplane, they make you turn your cell phone off, you start flying.
Everybody just kind of blows that off.
Yeah,
like, right.
It's really interesting, yeah.
This is overkill.
But I don't think this is necessarily the cell phones. I think it's the network that the cell phones are on, all those cell towers. And with 5G, we're hitting more frequencies,
Right.
I know on like local areas they'll go up to like millimeter wave, so they get a lot of bandwidth, but usually that's for like small areas like a stadium, because previously you go to a stadium and you can't get any signal, but they've been able to with the high frequencies they've been able to handle that problem. However, new frequencies of 5G keep getting activated,
right.
as we grow. So what's going on here?
Well, think about it. What would have to happen? The tragedy would be that the plane crashed. So what would have to happen? If they could figure out a way to cut the engines off, they could still probably do a pretty good glide landing with the gear down. That happens, a lot. They'd
right.
have to get the ailerons, and they'd have to put the plane into a dive. Even if the engines, they would have to take control somehow of the flaps, because unless they could put that plane into a dive, the pilots could land that thing and probably, get the gear down. Even if the gear's up, you got a pretty good chance.
Well, I don't think this is really fear that it's going to take over the plane and crash it. It's more like the instruments, like the altimeter, is not going to work anymore. It's going to be impacted by this frequency, and the pilots are going to misjudge, their altitude and crash the plane.
But to Bob's point, though, airplanes have an autopilot. That's where they're
that's
mostly
true.
being flown by an autopilot, and the autopilot basically takes in these measurements and flies. And so if it's getting bad altitude measurement, who knows what could happen, what the autopilot could do. So so we got a video.
Yeah, we got some breaking video on this.
Cell phone companies have hyped 5G as a major leap forward in technology, allowing data to move faster than ever before. But just weeks before AT&T and Verizon's 5G towers go live, this morning a warning about possible interference with crucial technology pilots rely on, specifically altimeters, an instrument used in almost every landing. It tells pilots the plane's distance from the ground. Imperative when landing in low visibility or bad weather. Just last week, the Federal Aviation Administration issuing an extraordinary airworthiness directive that reads, in part, altimeters cannot be relied upon to perform their intended function if they experience interference from wireless broadband operations. Airline executives on Capitol Hill Wednesday.
I think if you were to ask us what our number one concern is here in the near term, it is the deployment of 5G.
The airline industry warns flights could be canceled or forced to divert to airports without 5G interference, potentially impacting thousands of flights a day and millions of passengers, especially at big airports nationwide. The airline industry is urging cooperation to resolve the issue.
We could absolutely solve this and live in a world where there is 5G available.
The cellular industry and the Federal Communications Commission say 5G has already rolled out in over 40 countries around the world without impacting aviation. AT&T and Verizon are also committing to reduced 5G power levels near airports.
Does it make sense, though, that one hand of the government, the FAA, and the other hand of the government, the FCC, didn't figure this out in advance?
They have not been able to get in the same room and reach consensus to this point.
Troubling to you?
It's causing a degradation in aviation safety. It's very troubling to them.
Again, the issue is with 5G cell phone towers, not the phones that we all carry. And it's important to note that government engineers say that if you use T-Mobile, those frequencies do not interfere with a plane's avionics.
What?
Correct?
It's a big T-Mobile ad. It's a T-Mobile conspiracy. So, all right. So
isn't 5G already rolled out? Like in Huntsville, we have 5G.
Yes, but they're activating new frequency bands.
That's a new frequency band that could be impacting.
So let me kind of explain how this happened. So he said high bandwidth. Okay, so you have a frequency here, which is just a number. Think about a temperature. This is 100 degrees, and then you have another frequency here that's 80 degrees. Okay, when you have a high bandwidth, let's say your 100 degrees has a high bandwidth, so it can be anywhere from 75 degrees to 125 degrees, and it's moving back and forth along that bandwidth. So it might cross over this 80-degree bandwidth.
Oh, I see.
And so that's a potential problem, or even then. If that's what's happening, they'll have to figure out a way to reduce the power where those bands are overlapping. And there's other things that can happen, like spurs and some other EM interference things that can happen. But that's generally the idea of what's going on here.
Would this be considered low tech? Is it pretty simple?
Not necessarily. I mean,
because what I'm thinking is, up until now, for the past 50 years, we've had no problems, but it's real simple stuff. But now that we've got this potential issue, couldn't some really smart dudes get into the labs like you and get in there and do some reconfiguring and just work out a way where they can coexist and bounce off of each other or something?
Well, that's kind of what they're saying, is they hadn't gotten the room together. The Federal Aviation and the Federal
do you really believe that, though? I mean, because there had to have been extensive study to come up and say you guys can use these bands for 5G, and I know it's going to make your cell phone product better, but what is the impact on airliners and other equipment, other technologies?
And this is all like it might happen, and then hearing the T-Mobile shit at the end, it's like T-Mobile paid off the news organizations to have them say that.
Is that because T-Mobile sucks and they don't have enough towers near airports or something?
I don't know, yeah. But that's my theory.
Oh, my goodness.
Either way, it's scary. It is scary. It's a potential possible thing that could happen. The science, trust the science.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing how many waves are going through the air right now, even as we sit here.
Right. They're all around you don't even know.
Our bodies are putting them out.
Right. If you could see them, we couldn't see anything. And then you got the quasars going through you. And just
from space.
Whatever the hell they're called.
So if you want to come have crazy science discussions with us, hop on the freespeechforum.com. We got a lot of super nerds, myself included. We got a lot of deep philosophers like Bob. And then we got Brooks. Brooks is a little bit of both.
I'm a little both. I'm hybrid. But straight lace.
All right. Let me say this. If there's an airline pilot out there listening, and I know you guys know your stuff, you know your bird, you fly those things through the eye of a needle. You guys talk. You're not going to get in an airplane if there's danger, right? Let us know. Please get on the forum and start us a thread and say, look, here's what the pilots think.
We need to hear from Flyer Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could tell us all about this.
We have we have a few pilots on.
Yeah, he's an Apache pilot, right?
Are you going to get your butt into a 747 and there's a chance that a phone call could take out your electronics? Hell no.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's really scary stuff.
So like and subscribe us. Come check us out on the forum. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, hit that bell so you don't miss any future podcasts.
And if you ever see Bob trying to fly your plane, get the hell out of there.
I do not get on board.
All right, this has been fun. Well, see you guys next time.
Take care, everybody.